What is going on, guys? This is Rob Reina here, and tonight we're going to be replacing a fuel line on our 1.6 liter 2013 Ford Escape. So the fuel line on the right is the one that is going to be replaced. I already have it out now just for this intro, but I'm going to show you how I got it out in the following video. As you can see here, you have the factory nylon hose coming up from where the low pressure fuel sensor is, coming up to a regulator, kind of this silver UFO looking guy. And that controls the flow as it goes into the fuel rail, which is where it exits here. So this used to all be black nylon hose on either side of this regulator, but that hose cracked at some point and was spitting fuel everywhere in the engine bay. So in the short term, I replaced it with this rubber hose and 2 hose clamps, which did an okay job, but I still was dripping fuel once the engine cooled down. So tonight, I got the actual replacement hose. This hose, part number is CV6Z9J280H. Now this replacement hose does not have this regulator on it, but I've looked everywhere and I can't seem to find any type of part number with that regulator present, and perhaps I don't really need that regulator.
Update here is that we have had this new hose installed for 2 weeks with no issues, so perhaps the damper is not actually required.
Mostly tonight I'm going to be doing the quick connect and disconnect fittings with this style tool right here. I'm going to show you how we do that, as well as some safety things to prep.
To prep for this procedure, we're going to reduce pressure, disconnect the battery, and wear eye protection. Fuel pressure reduction can be achieved in 2 or more ways. The first is to let the vehicle do it by itself by sitting overnight or maybe 8 hours. Again, if you have a fuel line leak, this will be a much shorter time frame. Second, you can pull the fuse for the fuel pump located in the fuel tank so that the engine can pull all the remaining fuel in the lines and stall itself. This will reduce pressure here.
Looking at page 212 in your owner's manual, fuse 56 in the fuse box that's in the passenger's footwell in the front is a 20 amp fuse, and that is your fuel pump supply. Now if we pull that fuse right here and then we start the car, there's going to be no more fuel being pumped from the fuel tank, but the fuel in the lines in the fuel rail will be consumed, and then once your engine stalls out, you should in theory have no fuel left to spray out when you disconnect it.
So let's take a quick look into the fuse box in the passenger footwell.
And if we look in the footwell, the top left, that yellow one, in the top left corner is the 20 amp fuse for the fuel pump.
Next, disconnect the battery to reduce chance of a spark with open fuel areas.
Alright, just for safety before we do this, I have the battery terminals disconnected, positive before negative of course, and to get in here, as you can tell, I have the cowl and the wipers removed again. They're stored right over there. If you need a procedure to get to the battery and disconnect it, please check out the video that pops up above right now, as well as down in the description.
Finally, just wear safety glasses. You only have one set of eyes. Now let's take a quick look on how the disconnect tool works.
This is a 5/16 fuel line. You take out this nylon safety plug that comes in there. That plug is protecting these 4 metal tangs, or these square tabs in there that snap over top of the barb fitting on the other fuel line in the engine bay. It's supposed to be pretty easy to assemble, but how do you get it off? Well, that's where this tool comes in. It's really just a little handle that you fit over the existing line, you close it around it, and then you just push and you shove it in there, and it's supposed to push those 4 tabs back to release this fuel line. So, sounds easy. Let's try it. I've disconnected this portion of the air intake by just loosening 2 hose clamps here. So now we've kind of moved things out of the way. This is the fuel line that I'm replacing. For some context, that is our low pressure fuel sensor. It comes up to the quick connect fitting right here where my finger's touching. And then it used to have black plastic nylon line that went over to this other quick connector, which then goes into your fuel rail. All right, so first we're going to take off that connector down there. I apologize for the wobble. I have the camera kind of suspended from the hood. I'm going to do the best I can to keep it stable. I'm going to take some paper towels and just jam them underneath and around there, just in case there is still a lot of fuel that might come out. I don't think there will be, but just to be safe. I also have eye protection on so that if there is a spray, it doesn't get in your head. So what we're going to do is we're going to spread this tool. This is a 5/16, sneak it up underneath the flared mushroom part of it there. And then while holding the tool in place and keeping those 4 pins depressed, then you're going to pull up on the line that you're trying to remove.
So one more time, the sequence of operations for this tool is to first fit it around the line, then insert it under the flared fitting. Slide it all the way up to depress the 4 tabs, and while still holding the tool in the upwards placement, pull up on the flared fitting.
So I have it there. I'm going to pull up there. All right, no crazy excess fuel, and disconnected that. Let's do the next one. Now I'm going to try and do that one there. I'm going to grab my paper towels from down here.
The next few seconds weren't a very good shot. I was putting paper towels around the area while inserting the yellow tool around the fuel line.
All right, so it took a second with the paper towel I jammed in there, but the tool is very much on the line. I'm going to push the tool in, push the hose up against the tool, and then pull the hose off. And wait a second for any fuel to drip out. I take this tool off, remove everything here, and take my fuel line out.
Now that we have it out, let's compare the old versus new hose.
Compare the shape of the old hose with the zigzag going into the regulator to the new hose, which just seems to be a more basic S-bend. This hose arrived with a sticker here saying engine connection, so this is going to be the end that goes into the fuel rail. And it makes sense too, if you look at the general locations of the ins and outs of both hoses. So let's get it installed. Alright, so I'm inspecting just the 4 tangs in there, those 4 tabs that are going to snap around that fitting way down there. Should be able to just press this guy on there and it should be good to go. Nice little click. Alright, now let's connect the front. So here we have our new hose, and I'm going to do my best to press this on without covering it with my big hairy arm. But push it on there, right onto the fuel rail.
Connect your battery, install your 20 amp fuse, reconnect the air intake, and start the engine to check for any leaks.
So on quick inspection, it doesn't appear like anything's leaking here. I wouldn't expect it to because this is a Ford fitting on a Ford fitting. I don't see any drips coming from there either. We should be all right.
All right, well, that about wraps it up. We hope that you found this helpful, as well as the safety tips with kind of finding a way to reduce pressure in your lines by running the fuel dry or by waiting overnight to dissipate the pressure. Again, always wear safety glasses, disconnect your battery to reduce chances of sparks, and use the right tools. These tools are linked in the Amazon link below. They're very cheap. It's like 12 bucks. And anything that you get through Amazon, of course, through our links, does help to support the channel because they're affiliate links. So check out the links for this as well as our storefront for anything you might need. Give a shout if there's anything else we can help with if you haven't found it on our channel already. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching How to Escape.